it's important to understand how to efficiently navigate a document in Illustrator. Otherwise, you can waste an exorbitant amount of time fumbling your way to the area you want to change or see. Let's take a look at some techniques that will help you to navigate your documents in Illustrator efficiently. Now, I'm beginning this video with the navigation.ai file already open on my computer. And what we're going to do is take a look at some of the most common techniques, and then we'll dive into some more of the detailed techniques. Now, the two tools that are going to help you the most when you're navigating inside of Illustrator are located right down here at the bottom of the Tools panel. So the first one is the Zoom tool. So if you select the Zoom tool, you'll notice that your cursor changes to a magnifying glass. And if I just click on an area, it's going to zoom in incrementally on that area. So with each click, it's zooming in an additional 50%. And if you hold down the Option key on the Mac platform or the Alt key on Windows, you'll notice it changes to a minus symbol where you can click and that will zoom out in increments of 50%, depending on the zoom level you're looking at. Now, in addition, you can also come down here to the Zoom drop-down menu and pick a predefined zoom percentage from the list. So you can not only fit it on the screen, but you can zoom into 800% if you wish. And the shortcut, by the way, to fit the artwork to your window is Command-0 on Mac or Control-0 on Windows. Now, in addition, you can zoom in and out using a keyboard shortcut, and that is Command plus and minus on Mac or Control plus and minus on Windows. So I can zoom in incrementally or zoom out incrementally that way as well. Now, I'm going to press Command-0 on Mac or Control-0 on Windows to fit my document. And I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on the capital T by clicking and dragging this time. So I showed you earlier you can just click to zoom in incrementally, but if I click and drag to marquee around an area, I'm going to zoom in on that area, which is a really efficient way for me to work. Now, once you're zoomed in, a lot of people tend to gravitate to these scroll bars on the bottom and right side of their document. And they do in fact work. You can drag these scroll bars, but personally I find these a little bit counterintuitive and not precise enough. So the alternate is to select the Hand tool. And if I click on the Hand tool, that allows me to click and drag in my document, allowing me to reposition my artwork precisely and allowing me to focus on the area that I want to work on. So the Zoom and Hand tools kind of work efficiently with one another. Now, changing those tools is a bit cumbersome at times. So let's look at an alternative. I'm going to go ahead and press Command-0 on Mac or Control-0 on Windows. And I'm going to make my Selection tool the active tool, because that's the tool that you're going to be using probably most often in Illustrator. And here's a little trick. If I want to temporarily access the Zoom tool, I can simply press Command Spacebar on Mac or Control Spacebar on Windows. And while holding down those keys, it allows me to temporarily activate my Zoom tool. Now, on the Mac platform, you'll notice that the spotlight pops up. And you could turn that off in your system preferences, but honestly, if you just ignore it, you'll still be able to work without a hitch. Now, with the Command and Spacebar keys held down, or the Control and Spacebar keys held down, I can click and drag to zoom in on an area. And when I let go of those keys, I'm still using the Selection tool. Now, the other way you can do this is if you press the Z key on your keyboard, that will also temporarily activate your Zoom tool. So I can actually hold down the Z key, zoom in on my text, and then I can go back to that key. But the shortcut key is a lot more efficient. Now, in addition, once you're zoomed in, if you want to temporarily activate the Hand tool, you simply hold down the space bar on your keyboard. And you'll see that I still have the Selection tool active, but it's temporarily activating my Hand tool for me. Now, there's a nice new addition in the latest version of Adobe Illustrator that I'd like to point to. And I'm going to switch to my Type tool, and I'm going to click inside of this text. So the problem with that navigational technique is that if I was ever working inside of some text and I held down the space bar to access the hand tool, it was going to, as you can see, type a bunch of spaces, which is not very helpful. So I'm going to undo that. And so what they did in the latest version of Illustrator is they provided us with a handy shortcut for when we're working with the type tool. So when I'm clicked inside of some type, if I want to access the hand tool, I can simply hold down the Option key on Mac or the Alt key on Windows, and that'll still allow me to quickly access my hand tool. And when I let go of that key, I'm still in the type tool, able to make edits as needed. Now, the other feature that's really helpful when navigating your document is a panel appropriately named the Navigator. So if I switch to my selection tool, I'm going to go to the Window menu, and towards the bottom I have an option called Navigator. I'm going to open that up, and that's going to open up the Navigator panel. Now this is a really cool panel because what it does is it shows you a proxy view of your artwork. So we can see right here, this is my artwork right here. But it shows you a little red rectangle that's showing you your current zoom level on the document. So this red rectangle is basically representing what I'm currently viewing in my document. Now I can drag this slider to zoom out if I want to. And I could drag the slider to zoom in as well. But regardless of my current zoom percentage, I can simply drag this red proxy to a different area and quickly look at another area of my document. So instead of me having to zoom out and scroll and zoom in, I could just drag this proxy area right to the area that I want to focus on. And it makes quick work of navigating, especially in fairly large documents. So you can also change the percentage right here to a specific value. Maybe I'll change that to 300%, press enter, and that'll change the view. And again, I can just use this red rectangle to focus on a different area of my document. So if you like the Navigator panel, think about docking it to the left or right of your interface so that you have quick access to it later on. You can see that there are multiple ways in which to navigate a document in Illustrator. My recommendation is to use the methods and techniques that you feel most comfortable with, but take advantage of as many as you can to work as efficiently as possible in your own artwork.